Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Round 4 of the Taco Tuesday series takes us to a new venue for the championship at the Red Bull Ring in the Styrian Mountains of Spielberg, Austria. Tom Cairns in the commentary position, providing you with all the details you need to know throughout the night's broadcast. We've got both the Pro and Silver categories involved in the same server due to the numbers we've got. We are expecting 31 drivers, 13 from the Pro category and 18 from Silver to compete for the honours tonight in their respective classes. We've got the remaining minutes of practice. They've been doing a considerable number of laps to gain as much experience as possible in these GT3 cars around a new venue. It's a fan's favourite, is the Red Bull Ring. They should know their way around it. It's just in the machines that they are competing in compared to what they are used to in other game cycles. Matteo Simon, the fastest of all, with a 1 minute 23.3. The track has been dry throughout the session. In regards to what happened last week in Zolder, I wasn't around for that as I was on vacation, if you want to call it, or on some form of holiday. Carl Sween won out in the end in the Pro category, ahead of Neil Jackson, and in third place was Matthias Simon. Alberto Aragoneses, who won the opening 2 rounds at the Hungaroring and in Brands Hatch. He came home in 5th place. He's still leading the championship with the drop score, albeit 2 points clear over last week's winner, Carl Sween. In the silver category, Daniel Als from Denmark won last week, ahead of Will Rayner. In third place, rounding up the podium, was Matthias Dybel. Daniel Els currently P7 overall, third in class. Will Rayner is top of that particular pile. And Dario Danko, the home hero, in second class overall in this practice session, brought his McLaren home in 7th place last week in Zolder. We've got 26 drivers in the server as we speak. We are expecting a few more to join. We have joined us in the live chat. We do welcome you. This is the 4th round of Season 13 in Taco Tuesday. 5 rounds to go after this one. Paul Ricard next week, and it's Suzuka on May the 14th. Donington, the host of the last of the 80-minute specials. Nürburgring on May the 28th for the penultimate round, and then the last race in Watkins Glen on June the 4th. Alberto Aragoneses is not in the lobby or in the server as we speak. I don't even know if he's around tonight. Thinking of it, he is checked in. He has checked in on the Discord, but he hasn't made it into the lobby yet, as far as we know. But hopefully, we do see him for when qualifying gets underway. Track temperature 33 degrees, air temperature 25. The Red Bull Ring, 2.2 kilometres above sea level. Of all the tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, it is the highest, or the second highest. I think actually the second. I think the highest is actually the Odds Drummer Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. I'll make sure I have a look at that. It's the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, sorry, that's what I'm getting mixed up with. It's 2.2 kilometres above sea level is the Mexican circuit. In Austria, I think it's round about 700. Yeah, it's 785 metres above sea level at turn 2, the lowest 721. So it's over 700 metres above sea level, just to correct myself. Alberto Aragoneses is in the lobby, or in the server, and he's just gone to the top. He is at the top now. We've been an 80-minute special. It is an open strategy for the drivers. They have the choice as to when they decide to pit in. If they do, it's a short circuit though, is Austria. 4.3 kilometres. And JL Sim Racing coming in saying welcome. Good to have you joining in the chat and watching. So it's 15 minutes of qualifying that follows practice, and then it's the 80-minute special that will follow, which will round off the night's action. Now, whilst the Red Bull Ring was released as part of a new DLC on the PlayStation side of things, on the current gen consoles, the Nordschleife, well, as far as we know from midway of last month, whilst it may have been released on PC, there's no word as to whether it's going to be on PlayStation or Xbox yet. Hopefully we'll be going to the Nordschleife at some point in the near future. Andy Craven in the Pro category has missed the first race at the Hungaroring, but he's done the last two. 12th in Solder, 8th in the race before at the Brands Hatch, I should say. Be hoping for a strong showing. He's currently 6th in class in this session. Just over 5 minutes remaining. I suppose the good news for the drivers is that with it being a short circuit, they'll have more chances to get it right in getting the best lap possible. There's Morgan Grace, who is making his way through turn 5 now. He's coming up behind. Can't quite tell who that is. That looks like the man who's currently 24th in the session. That'll be the 740 Ferrari. It's one of those in the silver class, which is Jack King. And Carl Revel and Chris Gedman are both in the lobby. On the server, however you want to call it. So it's Alberto Aragoneses fastest, with Matthias Simon second, Jeffrey Godefroy in third place, Carl Sween fourth, and it's Adam Sharp fifth. And in sixth place is Jay Wazzer. The top six occupied by pro drivers. Will Rayner is the fastest out of those in silver. Dario Danko 8th. In 9th place is Gordon Brown. In the 134 Bentley. And Daniel Als in the 98 Ferrari in 10th and 4th in class. There's Andy Craven in 11th place, and then we've got the 248 Ferrari of Martin Kravek from Slovakia. There's Morgan Grace in 13th, and Simon Straczynski in the 999 BMW. Chris Foss has just displaced Grace and Straczynski. In 16th position and 6th in class is the 99 Lamborghini. Just trying to find who that is. It's Jacob Olhout in the 65 Aston Martin. Is Andrew Tulloch from Great Britain. 18th place is the 888 Ferrari of Soren Mikkelsen. Fogler Pistol 19th and Jan Spike in 20th, the slowest out of all those in the Pro class. And we've got Ryan George, who I think recently dropped down from the from Pro to Silver, or at least he was in Pro last season. He's next in the number 10 McLaren. In the 93 Ferrari is Mikael Mihaly, if I've pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I've not. Followed by the 782 Ferrari of Stefan Fischer from Germany. Cameron Blair in the 152 Ferrari is 24th overall. In the 68 McLaren, just looking through on the standings where he is, it's Stephen Beck in that place. Jack King has just been pushed down. Kyle Revel and Chris Gedman have yet to post a time in the session. I want to go for a lap with someone round this this circuit of the Red Bull Ring. We won't do it with Jeffrey Godefroy because we're coming towards the end of the session. We'll go on board with the number 10 of Ryan George, who could most definitely take us on a lap. Although to be fair, the fact that I clicked on drive has stopped me from being able to switch the cameras around, which is not good. So I'm going to have to wait a little bit before I'll be able to do that. So we do apologise for that, but at least it's happened during the practice session and not in the race. So we'll stay with Jeffrey Godefroy now as he begins his last attempt in the session. As he comes up towards turn number 1, it's roughly a 90-degree bend. Almost like he's having to drift his way through there, riding the yellow sausage curb. Don't want to go too far out wide. Through the kink of turn 2. Past the configuration that MotoGP use. And on the curb on the outside for 3. Exit speed vitally important. Don't want to go too far out wide. If that was a qualifying lap, I think that lap would have been discounted. Turn 4. You probably want to be in second gear. Through turn 5. On the outside for 6. Minimal use of the inside curb. On the outside for 7, nicely done. Preparing for 8. Make sure you stay on the inside for it without exceeding track limits. 2 more corners to go. This is the Jochen Rindt curve. Nicely for 10. You just blast your way down the pit straight, and that rounds up a lap. of the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So it's a nice lap there from Jeffrey Godefroy, going fastest of all. So the good news is that we've got the TV cameras back, which we'll make sure we stick to. We won't click on drive, because otherwise it'll take a bit of time to get back to the action. I can say that qualifying has begun, but it says 20 minutes. I think the reason why, I think the first set of drivers from the silver category will get 10 minutes of track time. The pro drivers will stay in the pit lane, and that's so that no one impedes any of the drivers. I did say 15, but it is going to be a 20-minute qualifying session, just so that each class gets enough track time to get their times in. I just want to check that no one from the pro category are going out on track. I don't think they are. They'll be staying in the garages. So the first driver coming round is Daniel Als, race winner in the silver category last week in Zolder. In the 98 Ferrari. Through 7 and 8 he comes. He'll find the ring curve, which isn't too far away. It's a tricky section to get right, and this is where track limits is going to come into play, and he's definitely run wide there, and that could mean that his first time that he's about to start may be irrelevant. If you exceed track limits at that corner, not only is the lap going to be discounted, but also the lap that you begin, because you can gain an unfair advantage by exceeding track limits just before the last turn. We'll stay with Daniel Als for now, just in case he does actually put the lap in. We don't know for certain if he has exceeded track limits. As soon as the 10 minutes are up, all the drivers from the silver category will need to make their way back into the pit lane, so that the pro drivers can get their chance out on the circuit. I think once the 10 minutes is up, if you are on a lap, I think you can finish it, but once you finish that lap, you then need to stop on the circuit and head back to the garage via the pause menu, which sounds very unrealistic, but it's the quickest way of sorting out the situation. I think by the time the 10 minutes are up anyway, the pro drivers will be on their out laps. And Daniel Als is over the line, and his lap time is legal, 1 minute 29.2. And we've got Martin Kruvik in second place with a 1 minute 30.2. We've got Stephen Beck in third in the McLaren, displaced now by Dario Danko in the 720 McLaren. And it's Jack King and Jay Althouse getting times on the board, as is Kyle Revel. Ryan George with a low 1 minute 30. At the moment it's Als. Gordon Brown now in the 134 Bentley in second place. We've got Mickelson in fifth for Ferrari. Haley in 10th for a brief moment. Cameron Blair also getting his first time. And the track will pick up, so Daniel Als will need to just carry on his way, keep putting the times in. Some drivers will have exceeded track limits on their laps, so they'll need to go again. Andrew Tullett goes up into second place in class with a 1 minute 29.6. 4/10 away from the fastest man. 15 drivers have set times so far, and Chris Gedman is the only driver out of the class to get a time, so you'll need to go again. Als crossing over the line. Is this an improvement from before? It's not, and he stays where he is with the time on the board. Kravek is able to close the gap though, and is back into second place with a 1 minute 29.5. We look at Brown, who's coming through the penultimate turn. He's gone well up wide there. I'm sure that lap will be deleted. Dario Danko is into second place now. Daniel Els is down to third because Kyle Revel has gone to the top with 1 minute 29.1. A good time there from the Brit, who goes up to P1. How are the others getting on as we speak? Well, Andrew Tulloch should be coming around the last corner now. He's got the 782 just in front of him, which is Stephen Fisher. Yep. So Fisher over the line. Fisher remains in 14th. Tulloch remains in 5th. We've got the number 5 of Will Rayner next coming over the line now. And his time is good enough for 4th place on the second row of the grid in silver class. Chris Gedman is out on the circuit at the moment, but I'm not sure he's got a time on. He hasn't got a time on the board. But he needs to get something on there, and that's not the way to go through turn 9, Chris. He's got some work to do. I don't know if he's managed to really acclimatise to this circuit in his Porsche. Yeah, by running wide at turn 9, that lap would have been deleted. 3.5 minutes to go for the silver drivers, and Martin Kravek has gone to the top with a 1 minute 29 dead. Kyle Revel is second. Daniel Els is down to 4th place. And there is Brown, who will be determined to move up ahead of Tulloch at least. With the lap he's about to do, he'll have at best a couple more attempts. He's heading over the line now, is Brown. Does he go in front of Tulloch on this occasion? He does not. Remains where he is. And who's coming around the last corner? Well, Will Rayner is doing so in the number 5 Ferrari. 6th at the moment. Does he move up? He goes to the top with a 1 minute 28.7. The track is picking up now, so we should start to see faster and faster times. Daniel Els is down to 6th place. Andrew Tulloch was able to move up to 4th. And Chris Gedman's coming around turns 9 and 10. And he's not really exactly using the best lines out there. He's got time on the board now, but he is nearly 7 tenths off the next man ahead of him. Danko 5th, Els in 6th place. Ryan George is in 7th now ahead of Jack King, who's able to move up. We've got around about 90 seconds to go in this qualifying session in the silver class. There's Cameron Blair in 12th. I don't think we've got any more drivers joining the lobby. We've got 28 in, 16 in silver, 12 in pro. And looking at who is out on circuit now, well, I say all the silver drivers are out, so well, maybe not all of them. The 98 of Daniel Els is coming through. He'll have one more go at it to get back pole position after being fastest earlier. And he goes to 2nd place with a 1:28.9, and he is going off the circuit, and that'll be his session done. So he won't be on pole in the silver class. That is currently occupied by Will Rayner, who's done a tremendous job so far. Kyle Revel coming through the last couple of corners. He's wide a little bit over the white line. Don't know whether the game has decided to discount that lap. Revel goes over the line now, and that time was not an improvement from before. And Gordon Brown in the 134 Bentley round in the last turn. And this time is good enough for P7, half a second off the pace. I think all the drivers will cross over the line now to have completed their last attempts. So we should start to see the pro drivers enter it, well, exiting the pit lane now, which means anyone on a fast lap, if they started the last attempt before the 10-minute mark, they should be able to complete it. Chris Gedman will be one of them, I'd have thought. But once he's done his lap, he needs to head straight back into the pits. Jay Wazza is the first driver out on circuit in the Pro Cross, so it won't be too long before we start seeing the silver cars heading back to the pits. Is Gedman going to get his best time with this one? He does improve his time, but not in his position, so he remains 16th in class. So it's Will Rayner who will be on pole position in the silver class here at the Red Bull Ring. And now we turn our attention to those in the Pro category. Jay Wazza is out on circuit, but we want to go to the number 37 of Adam Sharp, because I think he was the first one to head out on circuit. So he begins his lap now. He'll want to make sure he gets in front of all of those silver category drivers. Very close indeed, actually, just over 0.8 of a second separating the top 10 in that class. Down the back straight he comes. Oh, we're going to see Sharp carrying on the form that we've seen from him. Well, he's had a third, a 13th and a 10th, so he's finished all the races. Podium coming at the Hungaroring. He's through 7 and 8. All that remains is 9 and 10, and it's the run to the line. Through turn 9, the Ockerman curve. Riding the curve of 10. And it's a sprint to the line. Where is this going to put Sharp? Is he in front of the silver drivers? He goes 8th. So some work to do for him. Carl Sween only goes 6th. And is anyone able to dispose Will Rayner? Jeffrey Godefroy has come close. Less than 2/10 away. Let's see who else is heading over the line. We want to go to the 987 of Spike. You can see no one has still got in front of Rayner, but remember the track did pick up whilst those cars were on circuit. So in the remaining minutes of this session, I would expect the same for the Pro category. It may not be as relevant at this stage. It's Jeffrey Godefroy who's fastest out of the Pro category drivers. Wazza, Aragonesses, Craven and Grace exceeded track limits or suffered problems. They're still on track. Godefroy coming through. Adam Sharp goes ahead of Godefroy. He's able to find some time. Carl Swing goes to the top. 1 minute 28.5. We're starting to see the Pro drivers coming alive the times they are producing. Godefroy goes back ahead of Sharp, but not ahead of Rayner or Sween. Matthias Simon is still 9th overall. Andy Craven 13th as we speak. See the board changing all the time. We've got 32 heading over the line now, which is Jay Wazzer. I think he was going over the line to start a lap. Some work to do for him. 4.5 minutes remaining. Once the clock expires, anyone on a fast lap can complete it. Sween, who's ahead of Rayner, Godefroy and Sharp. 3 pro drivers in the top 4. No points or an offer for the driver that sets the fastest time. That will come in the race. Go to Carl Sween, who is not able to improve his time. Godefroy is coming through, 3rd overall, 2nd in class. He's not able to move up this time around. What about Adam Sharp? He's not able to move up either. Morgan Grace hasn't been able to move up. Poisson is heading over with no improvement. And Straczynski, I think, was able to go up the order. And Spike is 20th overall. Only pro drivers behind him are Jay Wazzer. We'll change that fact because Jay Wazzer has gone up to 10th and 5th in the pro class. Roberto Organesses is the only driver now yet to post a time. He's just heading out on the circuit now. So he may have 1 or 2 attempts to get onto pole. The 2-time race winner this season, championship leader. And Carl Sween, fastest overall still, going around the last corner to complete another lap. Where is this going to put him? It's not an improvement in time. Remains where he is. Morgan Grace goes up to 2nd though, pushing Rayner and Godefroy down the order. Godefroy not getting in front of Rayner still. Jay Wazzer on circuit. He'll have 2 more goes at this. He's 12th overall, 7th in class. Can he go up the order with this one? He can. He's up to 3rd place, pushing Rayner and Godefroy down the order. Nice lap there from Wazzer. Andy Craven in the number 16 Ferrari, exceeding track limits. Surely this lap is not going to count. That might impact the last attempt he's about to do. He's starting his last attempt now, and he might actually be alright to do this one. How is Alberto Aragonesas getting on? Well, he's in 26th position. I think a couple of the drivers have left the server momentarily. I think they'll be back for when the race starts. It's still Carl Sween on top in the 147, sorry, in the 21 Porsche. It's looking very good for pole. And Godefroy's ahead of Wazzer now in 3rd place. Wazzer down to 4th and not out on track. We'll go back to Aragonesas though, because he is coming through the last turn now. It doesn't look very quick, this one. He'll have 1 more go at it. His time is only good enough for 20th fastest. And the only driver behind him in the Pro class is Jan Spike. But this is the lap now for Aragonese. He needs to throw everything at it. He's too far down the field to be challenging the front runners. So this lap is going to be very, very crucial. The clock is out. Well, the clock has expired. Number 37 is coming around the last corner now. I think that will be Adam Sharp. Around the penultimate turn of this Red Bull Ring. In the 37 Ferrari. What can Adam Sharp produce here? Can he go in front of Will Rayner on this one? He cannot. No improvement either from Sharp. He stays in P6 and 5th in class. The 696 coming through the last, or coming round the last couple of corners, which is Chris Faster. And he's actually going into the pit lane. So we'll go to number 34, which is Farclub for Fizzle. He's heading into the pit lane. So Aragonese says, with this last effort, needs to move up the order. He's currently P20, but with this lap, I would reckon he'll go into the top 10 at least. He doesn't go up the order. I think he may have exceeded track limits on that last attempt. So he'll start 20th on the grid overall, which means last week's race winner in Zolder, Carl Sween, is on pole position for the Taco Tuesday race here at the Red Bull Ring, with both pro and silver drivers competing. Will Rayner will be on pole in the silver class, ahead of Daniel Als and Martin Kravek. Morgan Grace and Jeffrey Godefroy are second and third in pro, which should make for an interesting race. Alberto Aragonese, twice a race winner this season, has got with it all to do from 20th place on the grid in this 80-minute special at the Styria Mountains of the Red Bull Ring. Renovated by the German circuit designer Hermann Tilke in 1996. The Österreich was the original configuration before changes were made to a shorter layout. The Red Bull Ring has a couple of stints of hosting Formula 1 under the title of the Red Bull Ring in 1997 to 2003, and it wasn't until 2014 when Formula 1 came back here. It's hosted the Austrian Grand Prix since then. In a couple of years, it hosted 2 rounds in the same season under the title of the Styrian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is very much loved around this Red Bull Ring circuit by the Red Bull fans. Red Bull is the home, well, Austria is the home of Red Bull. Verstappen took victory on this circuit in 2018, 2019, both races in 2021, and the Austrian Grand Prix in 2023. 5 times a race winner around this track. No driver has won more at the Red Bull Ring than he has. That's what makes him so special around this track. We've got less than 3 minutes to go before the start of the formation lap. We'll run down on the grid order after the formation lap is underway. We won't have too long to wait though. Carl Sween will look to take over leadership in the championship with Aragonese down the order. Only 12 drivers in the pro category competing as we speak. 25 points are on offer for the win, 24 for second, a point difference between each position down. And there's a point on offer for the driver that sets the fastest lap. That applies from within pro and from within silver. So silver will have to find out where who has got the fastest lap in their own category, because it's likely that one of the pro drivers will get the fastest lap overall in this. Let us know who you are, who your money is on. And Gaming from God is just coming and saying, to fix camera, open up options, controls, select wireless controller. And to be honest, I use a keyboard for the camera angles, because we had a time where you used to be able to use the controller to alter the cameras, but nowadays I don't think you can do that. I think you would need to have a keyboard to do just that. I'm sure the Red Bull Ring will be used as another venue for the Taco Tuesday series in the FRL. I suppose the more experience around this track, the better. And the Taco Tuesday series is not the only championship that the Formula Racing League offers. On the PlayStation side of things, there's the late night championship on Thursdays, sprint series on Sunday, endurance races happening on a monthly basis, and then every other week we have some sprint endurance races. On the PC side of things, there's the Team Sprint Cup on Tuesdays, the Rookies and Master Series on Thursdays, Late Night Party Championship on Friday with some monthly endurance races. Those on the Formula 1 side of things, on F1 23, soon to be F1 24 in around about a month's time. Got 2 tiers on Tuesday, depending on how quick you are, with some other another championship on a Friday, with the Realistic Racing League on Saturday, along with the 100% distance event, and then there's a 2-tier championship on Sunday evenings. The formation lap is underway then. Let's run down on the grid. We'll go through the order of the Pro category first. Carl Sween is on pole ahead of Morgan Grace, alongside with Jeffrey Godefroy and Jay Wazza on the second row of the grid. We've got Adam Sharp and Chris Faster in 5th and 6th, followed by Matteo Simon and Simon Straczynski. Farglad Bavizzel and Andy Craven are next behind, with Alberto Aragoneses and Jan Spike rounding out the grid for that particular class. Running down the rest of the grid in the silver category, Will Rayner is on pole in silver ahead of Daniel Als, last week's winner in Solder. Then it's Martin Krevek and Kyle Revel on row 2 in that, with Andrew Tullock and Dario Danko. Ryan George and Gordon Brown are 7th and 8th, with Mikkelsen and Olhaus up next behind. Cameron Blair and Stephen Beck are 23rd and 24th overall, with Stefan Fischer and Michele on the penultimate row of the grid. Running out the grid overall are Chris Gedman and Jack King. I think Jack King arrived late after quali had finished, but he did set some times, but his times didn't count because of him leaving the server at the time of which he did. So he'll have to start right at the back. It'll be a rolling start. Carl Sween will gather the field round. They'll be in their mandatory rows of 2 before the green flag is waved by the marshal on the pit straight. 80 minutes of action. It's an open strategy, so the drivers can pit as many times as they like. It'll be interesting to see who decides to do what in relation to strategy, but given the abrasive nature of the Red Bull Ring circuit, I do expect some pit stops to be done. Well, the drivers are coming into their rows of 2 now. Carl Sween in the green liveried Porsche, alongside Morgan Grace, who will be gunning for victory here this evening. And watch out for those in the silver category. Will Rayner in the number 5 Ferrari ahead of Daniel Als and Martin Krevek. The drivers are coming through the last turn now, and we await for the green flag to be waved by the marshal. When the green flag is waved, we can go racing here at the Red Bull Ring for the first time in the Taco Tuesday series in the FRL. It's green at the Red Bull Ring. Carl Sween and Morgan Grace going side by side, but Grace seems to react better than the fellow Porsche, and he's leading into turn 1 first. And Sween has to run wide on the exit, and there's contact at the back. There's a car in the wall. We'll come to that very shortly. But Grace has got the jump on Sween with Godfrey and Wazza next behind. In fact, Godfrey is tackling, I think that must be Wazza who's coming through there in the number 32. But either way, Morgan Grace takes the lead of the race, and Wazza is up the inside of Sween into the Remus curve, and he's through. Wazza is ahead of Godfrey and Sween. Godfrey getting the move on Sween before turn 4. Sween not getting off to the best of starts after that. He's down in 4th position, and we'll look at Will Rayner, who's still ahead in the silver class, and he's going to have a go on Sween, who is struggling to get the power down out of the corners at the moment compared to those in the top 3. We'll look at who is actually at the back. I think it's Gordon Brown, who ended up facing the wrong way briefly. He hit the wall. We'll come to him because I think he's got some damage to that car, because surely that car won't be running as smoothly. Chris Gedman has ended up in the wars with someone as well. He's ended up colliding with Mihaly at turn 7. He's in the gravel trap, he's Gedman. He'll head back onto the circuit anyway. That one completed. Morgan Grace leads. It's Jay Wazza, Jeffrey Godfrey in 3rd place, and Carl Sween and Will Rayner, who's 5th overall and 1st in the silver class. Adam Sharp 6th, with Matteo Simon, Daniel Als, Martin Krevik and Kyle Revel running out the top 10. Als, Krevik and Revel are 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the silver class. I wonder if Sween may be on a heavier fuel load there, which explains why he's dropped back so quickly. If he is on a heavier fuel load, that could explain, but there's a long way to go yet in this race. Strategy could play a part as well. We've seen a few changes in position there. We'll look at Simon and Sharp going toe to toe. They are in the same class as each other. This is a battle for 5th in class, 6th overall. Simon round the outside of Sharp, and that should be enough for him to have the high ground on the exit through 5 and 6. And the move is completed. Simon goes up into 5th place in the Pro category. Sharp down to 6th in the Ferrari. And Daniel Als 2nd in the silver category. Kyle Revel was moved in front of Martin Krevik. We've got Chris Faster and Simon Straczynski, who are at the moment 7th and 8th in Pro. So far, so good. And keep an eye out for track limits, because that is going to play a role in this race, I would reckon, around this racetrack. Alberto Aragoneses, who started 20th on the grid, has made his way through the field. He's up to 15th. He's still only 10th in class. He's right behind Farkle Bavizel. We want to try and get a move done on him very, very quickly. We ride on board with Aragoneses, who is the championship leader coming into this round. He's up the inside of Bavizel. Does Bavizel know that he's there? Does know that he's there. One on the exit. We're on lap number 3 of the race. Grace has a 1.2 second lead over Jay Wazza. Godfrey is in a comfortable 3rd place over Sween, who's got Simon for company now. I think Will Rayner is in front of Adam Sharp. I think Sween is on a heavier fuel load compared to the top 3. It has to be, because he's not keeping up with those particular trio. And Simon fancies his chances of moving up the order. If he is on a lighter fuel load, then he needs to get through very, very quickly. He won't do it into turn 9, because it's not a corner where you see too many overtakes completed. Right on board with Simon as they come into the pit straight, runs wide on the exit. The line to start lap 4. Jay Wazza with a new fastest lap. Yeah, championship point, provided he keeps hold of that particular milestone. Simon got a much better exit out of 1 than Sween did, and it's going to be a very easy overtake there for the Frenchman. He goes past the American driver, and Simon in the 992 Porsche through ahead of the 21 Porsche. He's into 4th place. Will Rayner is coming alive in this as well. He used to be a pro driver, now a silver category driver, but he's still showing his class by battling it out with the pro category, proving why he maybe should have stayed in pro. But then again, he could be on a lighter fuel load, and he's tussling it out with Sween on the exit of 5 and 6. Sween having to go defensive on the exit. We've not seen anyone having to come into the pits, which is good news, as it keeps everyone alive. And Jeffrey Godefroy is right on the tail now of Jay Wazza for P2. He's onto the pit straight. Does he have a go on the Irishman? Godefroy has now got the fastest lap. He really could do with a good race here, does Godefroy. 8th position in Zolder, 6th in Brands Hatch, 4th at the Hungaroring. He's 3rd at the moment. With the reduced field in Pro, he should be able to get a strong result out of this and use it to his advantage. There is a dropped score involved in Taco Tuesday at the end of the season. Sween now has lost positions to Rayner and Sharp. Bit of contact there with the 37 Ferrari, which won't help. And Sween, so far in this race, is dropping like a stone. He's falling behind Daniel Als, who's in the silver category. It's not that something is wrong with Sween's car. It has to be that he's running a heavier fuel load. Al's running wide at turn number 4. He's having to recover at the inside line, and Sween, I don't think, will even try to fight it. He lets Kyle Revel go through because he's in a different class to him, and I can't imagine Sween is enjoying being passed by all these drivers. But it may come to him later on. The race may come to him. Wazza and Godefroy coming around to complete lap number 5, and Wazza is dropping back now from Grace. So here Simon is pulling clear in 4th ahead of Rayner. We've got Adam Shaw and Daniel Als. We've seen Alberto Aragoneses going through here on Simon Straczynski. They are both in the pro category, and Aragoneses gets through into 12th place overall. Oh, there's an incident at the back. Who is that that's gone round? It is Cameron Blair in the 152 Ferrari. He's had a tangle with someone. He's hit the wall, but not heavily. He's got the car spinning back round again, but he's lost time and positions. And I can't imagine that car will be handling as well as it did before he had the shunt. Race leads, and it's Wazza, Godefroy in 2nd and 3rd. Rayner in 5th ahead of Sharp. It's Daniel Als in 7th place ahead of Revel. Sween is being overtaken by Martin Krevek in the silver and red liveried Ferrari, or at least he was. Krevek is now having to go defensive with drivers behind him are in the pro category. They are Chris Barser, Alberto Aragoneses, Simon Straczynski and Varkov Pavizel. And Alberto Aragoneses will be making the most of this by getting through on it was I think Straczynski who was back then with to begin. Yeah, it was Straczynski's. In fact, no, he's got through on Chris Faster, I should say. Chris Faster is the one who's just got through. This is Martin Krevek that he's getting past now. So Aragoneses is making his way through. Krevek doesn't fight it because that's not his race. And the next driver up ahead of Aragoneses will be his cycle rival, his nearest cycle rival, Carl Sween. But with the way Aragoneses is going about his business in this event, he should be able to go through on Sween within the next lap or two. 10 minutes into the race, we're on lap 7. Not sure of how many laps we're going to complete here. We'll go back to the battle for 2nd place because we've got Jay Wazza and Jeffrey Godefroy nose to tail through 7 and 8. Morgan Grace is only 1.6 seconds ahead now. The race is coming to Wazun Godefroy a bit. Wazza now has the fastest lap of the race over Godefroy. Rayner in 5th place, still ahead of Sharp. Daniel Als 2nd in class, ahead of Kyle Revel. And Aragoneses has got in front of Sween for 9th position. And it's 6th overall in class. So Aragoneses and Sween, and 6th and 7th in the pro category. So Godefroy in 2nd and 3rd. And a gap between each other at the moment. I don't think Godefroy will want to threaten too much, because if they start fighting, they'll allow Grace to pull away more. Got a driver in the pits, it's the 152, and Chris Gedman has gone round for a spin at turn 1. And Cameron Blair picks up damage from the contact he had earlier. He's going to go down a lap by the time he rejoins, but hopefully he'll get back into the action once the drivers in the field start to make their own pit stops. But with repair work being done, they'll add another few seconds before he can be allowed back out again. Godefroy is right on the tail now of Jay Wazza as they come up towards the Remus curve. How is Godefroy positioning himself for this? Oh, a better exit. Looks like he had a better exit than Bentley in front. See a change here because Godefroy is all over the back of the Bentley. Alberto Aragoneses with a new fastest lap. He's closing in on Kyle Revel. He will not want to get in the way of him making his way through. So up the hill they come. Through Remus. Turning back straight towards turn number 4. Go to the battle between Als and Revel. I think Als has got Revel and Aragoneses for company. And Sween is dropping back still. Pavizel is behind him. He's got through on Kruvik. Blau has been in the pits for a long time now. It doesn't look like he's going to rejoin the circuit. It could be his race run. Has had a tough time of it in Solder last week, only maybe his way to 5th position. As we speak, he is 6th overall, which would be his worst result of the season, which means that would be the dropped score. Sween running wide on the exit of 1, that won't help, and someone went wide even further. And that would have been Daniel Als. No, it wasn't Daniel Als, sorry, that's looking at the wrong driver. That was Mikkelsen, and he's lost time in places. He must have hit the wall whilst he was off the circuit. Got overtaken by a considerable number of drivers. And Aragonese is through on Revel into 8th place overall. Next driver ahead of him will be Daniel Als. I want to get through. Sharp is behind Rayner in the battle for 5th. We've got Matteo Simon, who's further up ahead, and Chris Gedman is about to be lapped, believe it or not, already. We're only on lap number 11. Got a fight heading over the line. He's still behind, was it? As they headed over the line to begin at lap number 12. And on the exit of 3, this is heads through in front of Als into P7. And we look at Carl Revel, who's looking for a way through on the Ferrari. And Vizel is through on Sween for what is P10 overall and 7th in class. So Carl Sween from pole position has really slumped down the order. He can't be enjoying the handling of that car too well since the beginning. There's a long way to go in this race still, so plenty of time for change. Mikkelsen and Spike are in the pits, and looks like Chris Gedman has made his way in as well. Not sure what is going on with him. He's coming back out now. He's well down the order. Fight in P3 behind Jay Wazza. Turn 4 they come. Wazza and Godify nose to tail. 20 minutes into the race. So far so good for Morgan Grace, but will remain that way come the checkered flag. Grace leading, was a second and Godify in third. Adam Sharp is just coming to lap Chris Gedman, who needs to remain out of the way. Which he does so. There's A long way down the field is Chris Gedman. He's already 3 laps down. He's had another race to forget. Race the number 14 Porsche. So far this season, it's been 7th in Hungaroring, 5th in Brands Hatch, 7th in Zolder. He's currently leading in this one. Moser and Godefroy will have something to say on that. They're not too far off. Carl Sween is will have Martin Prevett for company rather soon. Turn 3, Aragonés says on a charge. Closes in on Adam Sharp, who's behind the man who's leading the silver category, Will Rayner. What fuel loads are each of the drivers on? That's something we don't quite know for certain. Hill we had a yellow flag. It's the 68 that has been in the wars, which is Stephen Beck, but it's able to continue. Has he got damage to that car? Judging by the bonnet flopping around a little bit, I think he might have had a bit of a hit with the wall. Going back to the buckle for P2. Adam Sharp is looking to get through on Rayner very, very soon. This is not too far back. So Sharp wants to remain in front of Aragonés as he needs to try and get through on Rayner. Rayner won't be easy though, he is fighting for his future in Taco Tuesday. Himself reckoning for Pro category drive. Daniel Allison, Kyle Revel. This is in the battle for second in class. So we've head through turn number 4. Down a hill towards turn number 6. Martin Prevett, who's another 3 positions back. He's about 10 seconds behind them. We've got a yellow flag, and it involves the 696 of Chris Faster. And who's that as he comes together? It's the number 16 of Andy Craven. And we've got another driver that's spun, and it's Farclough Bissell. So 3 drivers from the Pro category have had an incident on the exit of 4. That is a very strange incident. And I imagine all 3 of them will have had damage from that. I don't know who kick-started what, but it looks rather unpleasant. And they will need some instant surgery on those cars. I don't think Pavizza will want to continue with the state of his machine. That'll be him off into the pits at the end of the lap. Or does he decide to carry on? He's carrying on for now just to see how the car handles, but surely that machine cannot be handling as well as he would like. So Chris Faster will go through on Pafizzle. I wonder if Pafizzle ran into Faster at turn 4. In fact, they collide again at turn number 1. And Andy Craven is not far back to have his go on it. Yeah, it's a very strange chain of events. Godefroy still not making his way through yet. And Aragonese is still looking to find his way through on sharp for 5th place in class. Stay with Aragonese as he tries to get a better exit than Sharp. So 1. Pulling into the slipstream. Should gain him some extra speed down the so-called straight before they get to turn 3. Aragonese is on the inside into Remus, and that's enough for him to get through on Sharp in the end. Change for position. Bizzle has decided to continue on his way. Chris Foster and Andy Craven fighting it out. And that is that Mickelson is just staying out of the way there? I couldn't quite tell. If it's no, it's Stefan Fischer, who is not in their class. He's in the silver. Says making his way through. Now, once we get maybe into the last half an hour of the race, track limits could come into play. They could decide the race. On board, we've got Freud. Was it ahead? Go up the hill towards Remus. He's got to fight on the outside of Wazza. Wazza goes defensive. Got to fight able to completely switch back. And I think we're about to see a change for 2nd position. Potentially, or at least we were. Wazza remains in front for the time being. Revel in 9th, behind us overall. Paul Sweeney is 13 seconds off that pair. Aragonese is on the inside of Will Rayner. And that's him through into 5th place overall, so that's him out of the way. And I can go after Matthias Simon for P4. I don't know what strategy Aragonese is on. Carl Sweeney has got Martin Kruvert for company. Caught the curb and nearly dropped it. Will give Sweeney a little bit of a buffer as they make their way through Chris Gedman. Needs to adhere to the blue flags. Now, does he know that Kruvak is there? He does know that Kruvak is there, and he stays out of his way too. Tulloch is the latest to make his way into the pits for fuel and tyres, presumably. Now the last turn, Grace still leads ahead of Wazza and Godefroy. Someone isn't too far back in 4th position. Grace is exiting the pits now. Or at least he's exiting his box. Simon makes his way through as Tulloch goes down a lap on the leaders, but He knows it's not his race. He's present with those in the silver category. I think Jan Spike has been in the pits for repairs. There's Mihaly who's getting through on Craven, because Craven hasn't been able to get through on Faster or for Vissel. Now Vissel and Faster are heading through. Those Vissel running wide, and that allows Faster to get through this time. And they dropped it into the barrier there, did Vissel, who was very lucky to keep it on the track. Now he's got Faster and Mihaly trying to get through as well. Mihaly gets through on both. It looks like Craven's making his way past. Fight in third position behind Wazza still. Looks like Kyle Ravel's dropped down the order. I wonder what's happened to him. He must have had a spin somewhere, because he's dropped down the order by quite a bit. It's behind Dario Danko now. That spin has dropped Ravel down a few positions. He was third behind Als. He's dropped positions to Krabek and Danko, so he'll be fifth overall. Sharp is still behind Rayner. Rayner will be happy to be in front of Als, who's the nearest driver in his category. And we're watching Alberto Aragoneses go for the pit lane at the end of lap 21, I believe. Lap 22, my apologies. And let's see how long this pit stop takes for him. He's not had any damage so far, so this is kind of like a relevant pit stop. So he clocks it at 46.47, so you probably want to be in the box for around about 35 seconds. So say when it gets to around about 46.12, that is when he'll leave his box. Just see the 95 of Kyle Ravel coming in. Stop is done within 33 seconds for Aragoneses, so that was quicker than I thought. We've had a spin for the 79, and that'll be Chris Gedman, who's had another disappointing race so far, and he has got going again, and he's got damage to his Porsche. And I would imagine he'll need to go back into the pit lane for that, because I can't imagine that car will be handling as well as it was before he came in. Aragoneses leaves the pits now. He's behind Vissel, which is not ideal for his race. Godefroy is still behind Wazza, and Simon has closed in. And these three are a little bit further away from Grace now. He's 3.5 seconds clear. We're nearly halfway into this one. Morton Grace leading in Pro, Will Rayner leading in Silver. Coming up towards turn number 3. Now they're heading towards turn number 4. see a change in position here. There's Simon on the outside, Godefroy remaining on the inside. And Simon will want to keep his car alongside, which he does. He'll have the inside line on Godefroy. He's still there, is Godefroy, hanging on for all he can. And this is Simon who got the inside line. That might give Godefroy the high ground on the exit because he's got a right-hander to follow. He remains in front of the Frenchman. In fact, that may prompt Godefroy coming into the pits because he won't want to tussle with these anymore, providing he doesn't come together with Simon, who has to run wide to avoid contact. And this is an important point in the race because Aragoneses, who pitted not too long ago, will want to get in front of Godefroy. Sween, who thought started the race on a heavier fuel load, has opted to remain out there, and what the other drivers have done. Let's see, what's this thing going on? Cravo was just getting through on a back marker, I think. What about Aragoneses? How is he getting on? Well, Godefroy has completed his stop. Aragoneses is only going through turn 9 now. He's got Adi Craven in front of him, who hasn't stopped. And Godefroy will keep hold of his position comfortably. Aragoneses will want to get through on Craven, ideally into turn 1, but that won't happen. So I'll have to get him on the exit of... Well, he actually goes for it on the exit 1. He timed it to perfection to pull alongside. He'll be on warmer tyres than what Godefroy is on, which will allow him to catch up. That might be the only pit stop he decides to do, as we are approaching the halfway mark of this Taco Tuesday race, combining both Pro and Silver. Leaders decide to do now. Well, Jay Wazza is still there, Morgan Grace is still in the lead, Simon has not come into the pits, and Sharp is still behind Rayner in their own private battle, even though they are in different classes to each other. Rayner goes deep, and Sharp may decide to go for it, decides to hold back this time around. Carl Sween. Can't imagine he'll go all the way to the end without pitting. It's a yellow flag out on the circuit. It's the number 68 of Stephen Beck. It's not his first spin of the race. He's coming back onto the track safely without colliding with another driver. Very well, actually, so he rejoins without causing any problems for the others. Morgan Grace 5 seconds clear over Jay Wazza, with Mateo Simon coming in behind them. Well, Adam Sharp, I believe. Oh no, it's Will Rayner's coming in, and also is what looks like Mickelson, who's already pitted once. He's coming back in again. Godefroy, who's in that battle with Simon, will make sure he gets through. We are halfway through the event. see Godefroy, who's now ahead of Simon. I think he was ahead of him anyway before the stops. What about Aragoneses? Does he get through on Simon? He'll be on warmer tyres than what Simon is on. And I think Simon's got a problem. He stopped. Has he accidentally hit the ignition switch? I think he did. And that's cost him even more time. That could hurt his chances later. In fact, he's pulled to the side. I wonder if he's hit the ignition switch again, which is not an ideal thing to do. It's a very dangerous thing to end up doing. And he's back in the pits, and he's out. So after being in 4th place overall, Simon's race has taken a turn for the worse. Jay Wazza in the pits now. Longer race still due to pit. Carl Sweeney's behind Straczynski now. He's in front of him. Sweeney's had a really poor race. Can't imagine that car going as well as he'd like to. In fact, Jay Wazza has been hit with a 30-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not for track limits. And that'll drop him well down the order. Out of contention for a podium, most certainly. So that's another one of the top runners hit in trouble. It's good news for Geoffrey Godefroy and Alberto Aragoneses. Both of them will move up into 2nd and 3rd. Morgan Grace is in the pits now from the race lead. Well, hopefully they hadn't gone over the pit lane speed limit. Won't need to worry about Jay Wazza anymore, or Matteo Simon. Back all he'll have is with Godefroy and Aragoneses. We had a brief yellow flag, but that's gone away. Grace's stop was very short, it has to be said. I wouldn't think they changed tyres in that. So Straczynski's going to take over the race lead for now. Sween will go through as well. He hasn't stopped. And Danko has not been overtaken by I was going to say Morgan Grace hasn't been overtaken by Godefroy or Aragoneses. They're a long way back from him. But some drivers may not decide to pit at all, so it's not done and dusted just yet there for Grace. It's an open strategy in this one, unlike in a conventional Taco Tuesday event. Wazza is back in the pits to serve his stop and go penalty. Haley and Fisher are in as well. The stop-go penalty has been cleared now for Wazza. He'll be out on his way. We've lost so much time. On that 30, Straczynski takes over the lead, but how long will he keep it for? Dario Danko is the highest of all those in class after Will Rayner had pitted. Behind Aragoneses on track. He's 3rd overall. And Michaelson has not rejoined the circuit, so his race is over. Chris Gedman is still going. You can look at Godefroy and Aragoneses going to battle. This is for what is currently 5th in class. Wazza, after his stop and go, is rejoined 7th in the pro category. So So it's not all doom and gloom for him. And it looks like Godefroy has let Aragonese go. I wonder why he's done that as Godefroy, because that was far too generous of an overtake for him to give the position to Aragonese. Has Godefroy hit trouble? Has he got a problem with the car or something? Or did he just not want to lose too much time with Aragonese on a charge? That looked far too generous there. Rather suspicious as to why he's done that. Sween is less than a second behind Straczynski. As they make their way through, Remus and Sween is still behind Straczynski. Danko and Brown having their own battle in the silver class. Renes's got a fight. 5th and 6th class as well. And Will Rayner putting a lap there on Chris Gedman. He's ahead of Daniel Als. Both have pitted. Danko and Brown have not. Wazza is a long way back from Tulloch. He's trying to get back into the action though, Wazza. It won't be in the reckoning for a podium now. And Sween is behind Straczynski as they come through turn number 9. As the second separates Straczynski and Sween. Vizzle is the car that they're trying to lap. Sween should get through. Vizzle will adhere to the blue flags. Turn number 3 they go. Seconds the margin between the pair. Front. Brown is looking to try and make his way through on Danko for the lead in silver. Over half an hour remaining in the race. It's wide open at the moment. Some drivers going for a pit stop. Others opting to remain out there. Possibly all the way to the end, or leave as late as they can before they decide to pit in to put on new tyres. Straczynski and Sween continuing on. The 33rd lap of this race. About 30 minutes remaining. Probably looking at around a 50 lap event. The clock reaches 0. Whatever lap the leader is on will be their last lap. Aragonese is closing on sharp for 4th position in the category. What the chances of them catching up to Straczynski and Sween if they are going to the end. What Morgan Grace would be thinking at the moment. go too far out wide at turn 9. Those track limits could catch up with him later. Down towards turn number 4. Race ahead there. The bat marker is in front. Can't tell who that exactly is. It's not Stephen Beck. I know that for a fact. It's Jan Spike. And we've lost another driver from the race as well. Who's left the server, and it's not Mikkelsen or Blair. Don't even know if it's from the Pro category or the Silver category. We'll find out as the race continues on. We'll maybe find out at the end, once we go through the classification. Aragonés is behind Sharp in the battle for 6th place overall, 4th in the Pro category. Got Danko and Brown pitting at the same time now as we watch Aragonés go for it on Adam Sharp into turn 1. Sharp doesn't fight it, and Aragonés is through up to 4th place. That's a great effort from him, but will Sharp fight back? Aragonés will need to go defensive prior to turn number 3. Now is Sharp looking to the inside, or is he going to allow Aragonés to go? I think he's going to allow Aragonés to go, which I think is probably the most sensible thing to do. Danko and Brown's pit stops allow Rayner and Alce to go back into 2nd and 3rd positions. So into 1st and 2nd in Silver. And Brown is rejoined in front of Danko. Danko had a much longer pit stop than what Brown did. Now he's behind him. Not only is he behind him, he's also behind Andrew Tulloch and Martin Krevek. It's game on for the race win. How quickly can Morgan Grace catch up to Carl Sweet and Simon Straczynski in the fight for the race win? Trying to remember the last time Morgan Grace tasted victory. He didn't do so last season. Looking at season 11, I do recall him winning a Taco Tuesday race. gap between Straczynski in the lead and Grace in third is 10 seconds. There's a gap of only a second between Straczynski and Sween, which has been that way over the last 5 or 6 laps. Last time Morgan Grace tasted victory in the Formula Racing League in Taco Tuesday, I think you have to go all the way back to season 9, you know. I'm just browsing through each season to find the last time he had won in Taco Tuesday. Bearing in mind it is a reduced grid for the series compared to previous races. And we'll see more drivers trying to stay out of the way of the leaders coming through. And Grace will not want to be held up. Ferrari ahead. Grace. Looking at the last time he had won in Taco Tuesday, I think it might have been at Suzuka. You know, Dominic Crosby is a champion in Taco Tuesday. I was on the PlayStation 4 category though. It's a long time since Morgan Grace stood on the top step of a Taco Tuesday race. Straczynski is leading the way in Pro. In Silver, it's still Will Rayner. He's 5 seconds clear of Daniel Aus. Ian Brown in third. In Silver, ahead of Tulloch, Kravik and Danko. Danko's trying to make his way through on Kravik. Too long left in the race. It's only got about, I'd say about 12 laps to get some overtakes done and make up for lost time. Nearly running into Kravik, which won't be ideal for Danko. Next driver ahead of these two is Andrew Tulloch, who's occupying fourth in Silver. Jay Wazza, after that stop and go, is down in 7th place overall. But not 7th place, so it's 7th in class. And there's contact made though between Danko and Kravik at turn 1. Now I can imagine Danko will be in trouble for that unless he gives the position back to Kravik. That was really clumsy from Danko. He's waiting for Kravik to go back through again, and he does so. Now this is the battle for the lead overall. Straczynski ahead of Sween. Yellow flag now. The exit of the last turn involves Stefan Fischer. Jan Speiger's been given a drive-through penalty, and imagine that's going to be for track limits. And Fischer nearly came out into the path there of another car, which was very dangerous. He's back on the circuit now. He's well down the order. Spike will need to come in to serve that drive-through penalty. And the leaders just need to be on their toes with track limits around this course. Straczynski and Sween. So then the 782 is back in the pits, which is Stefan Fischer, and that could be his race done. So Straczynski and Sween, 1 and 2. On board with Sween. Takes us on tour of the circuit. The drive-through now, well, that's the same driver actually, which is the same driver as young Spike, that is, who is last out of all those in the pro category. I think it was a pro driver who were lost earlier, but I don't know who it is. Sween all over the back of Straczynski as they come up towards turn 7. And they've got the 79 going for a spin. That would have been Chris Gedman. Need to be careful to rejoin onto the circuit safely. It's got Morgan Grace behind. Sween and Straczynski coming through turn 1. Through 2. This is turn 3 that they're coming towards now. Is Sween going to make his way through on Straczynski, both which have not pitted in this race? It is an open strategy, so they can go to the end if they want to, but surely those tyres will be well past their best. Straczynski going too deep, and that might give Sween a bit of a chance here, but if they start squabbling, then that will allow Grace and Aragoneses to get through, to close in. The race has very much come to Straczynski and Sween. But will their tyres last the distance? I can tell you the gap is less than 9 seconds between Grace and this battle for the lead. Cross over the line. I think we are going to go past 50 laps the way things are going. Probably looking around 54 or 55 laps, but we're looking at Sween now going for the lead here. Needs to be tactical in how he goes about doing this. There's the pole sitter from earlier. Straczynski almost parking the car on the apex to make it difficult for Sween to get through. He's done that, and Sween is not able to get by on this occasion. Adam Sharp is in front of Jeffrey Godefroy, so that you know. He's through into 5th place. Sween makes his way around turn 9 with Straczynski. 15 minutes to go, and there's still no way through yet for Sween. Onto the pit straight again. Second is still very much on the cards for Sween. Get this overtake completed. Grace is closing in all the time, as is Aragoneses. He goes in too deep, and Sween is up the inside, and that's in through, is it? I think it is. Sween is ahead before they get to turn 4, but Straczynski is not giving it up by any means. On the outside he goes. Sween brakes earlier than expected, it has to be said. Still going side by side, and all this battling is going to allow Grace and Aragoneses to close in more. And remarkably, Straczynski is back through. Brilliant racing and clean all the way through. But the gap is now less than 7 seconds between Grace and these two. And Straczynski has decided that his tyres have given up and he needs to pit in. Carl Sween goes into the lead. Is he going to go to the end? Or will he have to pit in to get a set of tyres on? Well, Straczynski must have a quick pit stop with this one. He's left the box now. Rejoin behind Godefroy, who's battling it out with Sharp. He dives to the inside of Sharp into turn 1, goes in way too deep, and he'll come back onto the circuit very quickly from that. Now Straczynski can... Well, he's actually come into the box, says Straczynski. He's not actually done the stop yet. Thought he had done, but obviously not. It's a much quicker stop than most of the others. And he's out on his way. He's going to be able to get ahead of Will Rayner. Well, there's a car spinning round. It's the 93, I think. Is it 90? No, it's not. Someone's had a spin. It's the 99 of Althaus who spun around at turn 1 but continued. Aragoneses into third place then, behind Grace. They could be in their own battle in a moment, but they won't want to battle too much because Carl Sween is the one who's on worse tyres than those two. Heavy fuel load at the beginning. What is he going to decide to do here? Well, he's carrying on for another lap. That was less than 6 seconds in Sector 2. What is going to be the gap in Sector 3? Must be around 5 seconds, I'd have thought. It's 6 seconds. So Sween was able to respond. Grace and Aragoneses are in their own battle, nearly making contact. I think they touched, actually, did Grace and Aragoneses. Grace goes off the circuit. Aragoneses is going to fancy a go at it, but did Grace gain an advantage by going off the track? Might have had a ping for track limits. And the gap is increased once more. And Will Rayner and Daniel Alls are ahead of Straczynski on the track. Straczynski will be fancying going for a fastest lap here. Fight behind Sharp again. They won't have anything to do with the race win at this rate. Sween continuing on his way. Is it going to be a second win in a row? Sween crossing over the line. Over 6 seconds clear of Grace and Aragoneses in their own battle. Will Rayner is still ahead in the silver class. For your information, he's 6 seconds clear over Daniel Alls. And looks like he's got this race in his pocket in that respective category. I want to say in the battle for P2 because Aragoneses is side by side again with Morgan Grace now. Much better exit out of 1. And that's going to put him in line for the inside for turn 3. Grace doesn't fight it as much this time. He's hoping for a better exit than Aragoneses, but Aragoneses is able to move his car in front to have a better line out of 3, and that's him through into second place. Can he go after race leader Carl Sween and keep hold of the championship lead here? He hasn't got long in the race now to do just that. We are looking at around a 53 lap race. I think there'll be 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Race in third now. Not fighting too much. The battle for 4th place is still alive. We've seen more drivers going off the circuit there. I think that was Andy Craven for a little bit of a detour. Get back 4th position here. 8 minutes to go. Sharp will have the better exit. On the outside line, the curb can actually help with the acceleration, and Godefroy is not able to get through this time around. Sharp with the inside line, Godefroy not able to go in front here. On the outside goes Godefroy. Inside goes Godefroy, and Sharp not able to go through at the moment. .6 seconds is the margin between Sween and Aragoneses with 5 laps to go. As Aragones has got enough time to catch his rival for the championship. And I think Matthias Simon is the driver we've lost earlier. He's not going to be scoring, unfortunately. At least that'll be his dropped score for this season. As it stands, Aragoneses will be leading the championship, I think. He's got the extra fastest lap. Or 2. This will be his 2nd fastest lap of the season. Carl Sween hasn't had a fastest lap this championship yet. 3.6 seconds is the margin. And Carl Sween is coming around to complete his 49th lap. 4 laps remaining in this race. Is it going to be Sween taking the victory, or is it going to be Aragoneses? What's the gap now? It's 3.2 seconds. Now, I would say Aragoneses needs to take more than a second every lap if he has any chance of making an attempt of an overtake on his rival. And Godefroy's got through on Sharp into 4th place. Important overtake for his race. He won't have time to catch Grace for a podium. Aragoneses has got the gap down even more. It's 2.9 in sector 1. Sween has gone through the entire race without stopping. Aragoneses made a pit stop. He started 20th on the grid and has come through. So 2nd place so far. But could he even make it the race win make it win number 3 for the campaign. Extend its lead at the top over Carl Sween. Gap is just under 2.4. The gap was 3.2 seconds at the end of the previous lap. And imagine the gap will have come down even more. It may even come down to less than 2 seconds here. Over the line they come. And the gap is 2 seconds. Arganesas took out 1.2 seconds on Sween on that last lap. 3 laps to go. It's Sween versus Aragoneses for the race win. Sween will be coming up to a back marker very shortly. It's Farquhar Fizzle, who's in the same class as Sween and Aragoneses. Still 2 seconds the margin. What are they going to come? What is the gap? Through sector 2. Fizzle stays out of the way. He's gone into the gravel trap actually. And that sums up for Fizzle's race actually. He's gone through the tarmac area of the runoff. He'll need to be careful he doesn't rejoin into the path of another driver, which he doesn't do. The gap is still 2 seconds between Sween and Aragoneses. Sween just needs to keep his car on the circuit, as does Aragoneses. They won't want to get caught out by track limits, especially in the close laps here. 1.8 seconds. And Aragoneses only took 2/10 out of Sween on that last lap alone. He's got to dig deep here and actually go for it. .6 seconds is the margin through sector 1. Turn 4 and 5. Sween and Aragoneses are coming towards sector 2. What is the margin going to be? I mean, to be honest, do I need to tell the margin? It's 1.5 seconds. Aragoneses is not taking anywhere near enough of Sween's gap. There's still 1 lap to go at the end of this. All comes down to this. Will it be Sween or Aragoneses taking the victory? Sween taking victory would make it 2-2 in the win tally between these two championship protagonists. If Aragoneses was to take the win, it would be 3-1 in his favour. 1 lap to go then. The gap is 1.1 seconds. I don't think Aragoneses is going to have enough time to make an attempt of an overtake. He's got to give it his all. The gap in sector 1 is 9/10. Sween won't be worried about the gap, he just needs to keep Aragoneses behind. Out of every corner on this last tour. Sector 2 for the last time. The gap is 7/10. Aragoneses, I don't think he's going to be able to do it here. Sween is going to hold on to make it 2 wins in a row. Aragoneses will keep hold of the championship lead because of the fastest laps he's done so far this campaign. Carl Sween, from pole position, without making a pit stop, exits the last turn to win in Taco Tuesday at the Rebel Ring in the Pro category. He wins out by 0.6 of a second over Alberto Aragonés after a really uncomfortable drive at the beginning when he got surrounded by the field, but it became apparent as to why. Morgan Grace on the podium in the Pro category ahead of Jeffrey Godefroy and Adam Sharp. Will Rayner will come round to win in the silver category. Very, very well done to him. Daniel Als, who won last week in Solder, will have to settle for second place. 5 seconds behind Rayner. And Straczynski, who made the pit stop in the closing stages, will come through to finish 6th in the Pro category. And the driver who will finish on the last step of the podium in silver will be Gordon Brown. Adam Tulloch and Martin Kravet. In fact, Martin Kravet's a long way back. This is an interesting battle between Kravet, Revel and Danko for what is 5th in silver. And behind these three is Jay Wazza, who would have been in the battle for the podium in Pro. And that's the Ferrari running wide. And Jay Wazza will be 7th in the Pro category, what might have been for him. But there is your race winner. It is Carl Sween in the number 21 Porsche here at the Red Bull Ring in Taco Tuesday in the Pro class. Alberto Aragonés is second ahead of Morgan Grace and Jeffrey Godefroy. Adam Sharp was 5th. Will Rayner 6th overall, but wins out in the silver category ahead of Daniel Als. Simon Straczynski 6th in class. Jay Wazza 7th ahead of Chris Faster and Andy Craven. Fargler Whistle, Jan Spike were the rest of those in Pro to finish. The only driver out Pro to not finish was Matteo Simon. On the silver category, Will Rayner wins ahead of Daniel Als, and it's Gordon Brown in 3rd place ahead of Adam Tulloch. Martin Kravet was 5th ahead of Carl Revel. Dario Danko were 6th and 7th ahead of Ryan George in 9th. Jay Olhouse and Vele, Jack King, Stephen Beck and Chris Gedman were the rest to finish. Stefan Fischer, Simon Mikkelsen and Cameron Blair were those that did not finish out of those in the silver class. As far as the Pro category is concerned, Alberto Aragonés has a 2-point lead in the championship race. It's very much a 2-hole race between him and Carl Sween. In silver, Dan Naisbitt didn't compete tonight, so looking at who takes over leadership in that, I think that'll be Daniel Als by finishing 2nd, and it might be Kyle Revel. It's very close between those lot anyway. In fact, Andrew Tulloch could be in the reckoning, considering the drop score at this point, well, come at the end of the season. The next round of the championship will be at Paul Ricard in a week's time. Hopefully the numbers will be better than what they were this evening, so that the servers can be separate with the categories as they are. We'll do it all over again next week. Thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll do it all over again in a week's time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.